My name is Maureen Mutesa. I have two children, Belinda and Calvin. Calvin is my youngest, and he's the one with the complex medical needs. Problem that impacted on Calvin's during the pandemic was access to facilities like physio. We don't have those facilities at home, and yet at school, because he goes to a special needs school, those facilities are in there. So the government could have maybe provided extra funding for the physios to have PPE and access these children's home, just to help them maybe one or twice in an hour. They could do something, but we find ourselves that children with complex medical needs are always left behind. They're always undervalued. They don't think they deserve more in society. That's how I feel as a parent. The physio has noticed that his muscles have actually grown weaker. He was walking, and he doesn't walk far, because when we're outside we use a wheelchair. When inside, he can walk around. And for me as a parent, I do value that so much. I don't want to lose the small walking that he has, but now it's so difficult for him to stand for long, to walk longer. He's falling more. I just took him to accident emergency. He fell down at school because those muscles are now weakened. He didn't access those facilities. And for me, it's worrying me. Education-wise, of course, this has been pretty much a big problem for children like Calvin, because he couldn't access the education material. First of all, it was difficult because the school tried to send in some stuff for me to work with him. But as a parent, if you're not trained to teach a child with special needs, it's next to impossible. And my child, I must say that he has done no education. So, because the school actually, some people say, oh, the special needs schools were open. Yes, they were open for special workers. Yeah, those are the ones who are taking their children there, but they forgot about the children who have complex needs. They totally forgot. Their schools are open, but these children cannot even access the education. What's the point? What's the point? They can't have that extra help for them to be able to get some education. The home where we were, it felt like we were in prison, while the rest of the country was fighting for the 1 hour to go out and have exercise, and they felt it was their right. We didn't have that right to go out. Mentally, I have been drained. Mentally, I've been sick. Mentally, I'm exhausted. Mentally, I'm tortured. My anxiety has increased much more. And as a soul carer, you find that because your whole body is all gone, even the energy to carry out the slightest task becomes a real burden. And before the pandemic, I was already struggling. I was already crying out for help, and there was no help. Help was hardly there. Nobody believed me. Nobody thought that I needed help. So the pandemic just made things even worse. So I was in total isolation. For us here, we have learned to breathe rather than living, and that's the order. We just learned to breathe, but living, we stopped living because we have to take a day at a time. If I outline to you the day-to-day living, if I wake up at 6 to do the medication for my son, he has medication at 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6 in the evening, 7 in the evening, 8 in the evening, 9 in the evening, 10 in the evening, 11 in the evening, midnight. So at times I even have to wake up at 2 or 3 to do some medication. But remember, at night, because he sleeps with so many tubes, you have to keep waking up to do that. So the toll of being a carer is too much, and I have struggled a lot. The biggest of all is helping us to have proper respite. For me, that has been the biggest problem, a big problem, because without respite, it just exasperates everything else. It just brings the isolation, it brings the lack of being able to look after your family much better, because you're so stressed, you're so tired. Every time you just so tired, you're just running on fuels, you just can't cope. So respite. I just hope that somebody somewhere has mercy on us and comes forward to help us.